Welcome to Urban Knife Guy, where we explore the urban lifestyle and jungle survival. Today is Singapore's National Day, so happy birthday Singapore and all my fellow Singaporeans. So today I'm going to do something really special. I'm going to do a video just for my Singapore viewers. That's right, all three of you. And I'm going to share my emergency preparedness kit, or what might be known as a bug out bag or survival kit. The Singapore Civil Defence calls it emergency preparedness, so that is what I'm going to call the kit. Now this video is going to be specifically for my Singapore viewers, so for my international friends, there may be some local content or context, so I apologize in advance, but I'm sure you'll find this interesting and it'll be applicable to you as well. First, if you watch this channel regularly but have not subscribed, please do so to help the channel out. Thanks. So this is the kit I put together. Now just a quick overview of why I chose to do it in this size and really what is the purpose of the emergency preparedness kit. So one thing, of course, Singaporeans, most of us would live in apartments, HDBs or condos. So basically in a small space, and you will be in a high-rise building. So if there's any situation where you have to get out of home in an emergency situation, you likely will have to go downstairs. You do not want to carry such a big load. So obviously don't take the lifts in any kind of emergency scenario. Space is also very valuable at home. You don't have much real estate, so you don't want a huge backpack. For the guys, you probably have your army gear already, which you have in the storeroom, but you do want to have a well-stocked emergency preparedness kit, and this is something I think is a good size. I'm not sure how the size translates on screen, but I've actually shared the dimensions of this bag as well as the different components in a previous video, because I got this from a beach road market. You can check out the video in the link in the card above or the description below. But it's basically a satchel style bag, and I have a MOLLE attachment water bottle holder over here. So you can buy the bag separately and then you buy this separately as well, and I've actually attached it through these MOLLE attachments over here. And there are several pockets all over the place, and this bag is actually designed in Singapore, so I thought that's pretty cool as well. So I wanted this size because I wanted it compact. It is a satchel, so you cross-sling it over your shoulder. It is small enough for you to keep somewhere. It won't take up too much space, but it's got enough items that you need in an emergency situation. This is really packed or designed as an individual emergency preparedness kit. So if you have different family members, you ideally want different packs for them, or you might buy something slightly bigger and you would have multiple of items or different items for different family members. But this I packed and designed for an individual. So let's go and have a look at the outside first, and then I'll show you what I have on the inside. So on the outside, as mentioned, there is this water bottle holder, and it holds a water bottle. Specifically, it's a stainless steel bottle that can take 1 liter of water, and there's also a pot over here with a lid, and this can sit inside. And you want a metal container, even though it might be slightly heavier because you want it to take some damage, but also if you ever need to boil water, collect and then boil water, you can do it with this metal bottle as well. So that's why you want a metal bottle and a metal pot as well. Over here I've got some paracord in this holder. So this is a Velcro kind of a holder. I believe it was for a flashlight, but I've used it for paracord. So paracord is very strong cord that can be used in all kinds of situations. I have it over here. This is 550 paracord. Let's see, on the strap over here, and let's just flip this over, I've got this survival bracelet, and it opens up, so it's just looped over the strap, and this can easily be taken out and put over the wrist to form a survival bracelet. And this is a couple of tools in one. There is this little blade, which is pretty sharp, but it also can be used as a striker for a ferro rod, which we have over here. Now in Singapore, even if you bug out, it's unlikely that you might need to start a fire, but it is possible. I do have fire making capabilities inside, but this little tiny ferro rod is there for you if you need it, and this is a striker for you to strike it and for you to create the spark. So that goes in over here. There's also a compass for navigation. You might be wondering, well, in Singapore, do you really need a compass because everything is small and recognizable? Well, if you happen to be in any of the MRT exchanges which are underground, so that becomes a very complex system, and you might need to navigate yourself around, and that's where a compass will come in really handy. So this is on the strap, and it can go onto the wrist if I need it anytime. There's a back zip over here, and I'll show you what's inside later. Let's talk about the front. So this front pouch, now when I wear this bag over me, I keep it on my right side, so my right hand can reach in to grab any of these items easily. And what I want here is emergency items, things that I think I'll need most likely in an emergency situation. Now this reflector Velcro patch came with the bag, which is good, so you can even locate your pack in the dark at home if you need it, but at the same time I also know exactly where that flap is. And inside I have two items, and the first is a Swiss Army knife. This is the one-handed Trail Master. And this particular knife you can get from Beach Road. Depends when you were in the army, you might have been issued this as a recruit. If not, you can buy this from the Beach Road market as I did. And so this is SAF issued. It is a locking blade liner lock, and it's a combo style blade with that serrations and that straight edge. You've got the various Swiss Army knife tools, including the wood saw, Phillips head screwdriver and awl, and of course the cap lifter and can opener with screwdrivers combination. Of course the scale tools with the tweezers and the toothpick as well. So just a great tool, and you can get this at Beach Road. It's only $45 Singapore dollars, which is a really great price. And I put a lanyard over here, red to match the emblem, red to match the Singapore flag, but more importantly, the reason I have it here is when it's inside the pocket, I can just open this and grab it really easily, and if I need it, I can deploy it with one hand to cut whatever I need to cut. So that goes in there, and next to it, I've only got two items. The other item is a FAD or first aid dressing. Again, you can get this at Beach Road, and this is for any serious wounds that might need to be treated. So all this is on the front, so easy access, easily accessible. So on the back, I also have some things that I feel that I need to access easily, and I've got two items, and one is a pair of gloves. So these gloves are basically pretty heavy duty, but fairly light as well, and you still get some flexibility. Now, if you are in a situation where you might be in a fire, or there might be a fire and there might be debris, you need to move things aside, wearing gloves and having these gloves to really move things around and just not hurt your hands can be very valuable. So I would always advise any kind of emergency preparedness kit to have that. And I've also got a headlamp over here. I do have another flashlight in my kit inside, but really you do want a headlamp, because if it's at night and you need to navigate out of your house down the stairwell and there's no light, you need your hands free to either grab stuff or help people, you want to wear this on your head. So that goes inside as well, so easy access at the back. And now let's have a look what we have in the front, or the main pouch. I'll show you the individual items in just a bit, but you can see what I have over here. It's not completely full. Now, my goal was not to really fill it up, so you can put more things in, but I wanted extra space in case you needed to stuff some things, maybe some documents, your passports or whatever inside as well if you need. I do have kind of a granola bar just in case there's a need for any kind of food if you're going to be out. Now, generally in Singapore's context, if you do kind of need to bug out, it's not going to be a very long time unless it's really a disastrous situation that affects the entire nation. But if it's quite localized, really your bug out is only going to be for a couple of hours. I can't even imagine it being needed for more than 12 hours, honestly. So this is really, that's why this kit doesn't have to be so huge. You're not going out for a week. You don't have to live, on the street or anything. You just need to survive a couple of hours. And if it's some nasty situation, you just want to have the items so that you feel confident as well as you get out. But having said that, I do have some items. I'm going to take this out. I'll show you what's inside just a bit. That's charger, first aid kit. I've got a kind of a tool kit. This is a wrecking bar. So one thing, as you try to escape out of situations, there are times you might need to maybe pry windows or doors open. This is where this pry bar comes in. This is a pretty small pry bar. It's a Reaper pry bar. There's also a cutting tool over here and an open wrench box as well. And you have another pry here and a crowbar here. So it is pretty small, but pretty lightweight, but can possibly help you out in a sticky situation. I've done a review on this, so you can check that out in the link in the card above or the description below as well. So that's a pry bar, and that's it for the main compartment, except for here I've got a poncho. But this is a good quality poncho which can also be turned into a ground sheet. There are also tabs so that it can be a fly sheet. So a multi-purpose, high quality poncho. This is your cover in case it's raining or you need to build a temporary shelter. You can use this. And finally, over here, I've got a very large, heavy-duty trash bag. Multi-purpose as well, to keep things dry, to keep things covered, to use as a container, to cut open, to use as shelter or as a ground sheet. So it doesn't take up much space, but can be very useful. So all these items are all in the bag, but now I'm going to show you the individual small pouches now. First up is this drawstring bag. It's always good to have an extra small bag just in case you need to keep something dry or separate some items. And I'll also use this to carry a small stove. This is an S-pit stove, or what we might call a solid fuel stove or camping stove. Very simple design. It opens up like this. And I've got some solid fuel as well as wax jute, which is basically jute rope or manila rope that you have dipped in wax. And I've shown how to make this in a previous video. Do check out the link in the card above or description below as well. And this can be used to boil water in conjunction with the water bottle or the pot. And really, you really would need this in a really bad situation where you might need to, get your own water or heat up food if you can find any. But I think the chances of using this is very low in an emergency situation in Singapore. Let's have a look at the first aid kit now. And in this kit, it's very small, as you can see. I have one for my bushcraft outdoor bag, and it is the same compact size. You can buy this kind of kit, or at least the pouch itself, from Shopee. And inside I've put together different items for the kit. Gaviscon, this is for stomach upset. I actually like the tablets better, but a lot of people find this works faster. You just tear open the sachet and then drink the contents inside. I've also got electrolytes. These are fast chew tablets for you to get some energy and just electrolytes in you if you feel weak or dehydrated. Hand sanitizer, always good to remain sanitized and hygienic, but you can also use this as a fuel starter as well. These are magic towels where you add a bit of water and they become little tissues, so very useful as well. Got some earplugs. My subscribers have always told me that my survival kit should have earplugs, and in an urban environment, maybe there are loud noises, air raid sirens, people shouting, or you might want to protect your ears. Various medication and tablets, from charcoal tablets to Panadol, and just different things for stomach upset. You just want a collection of medication, and if you've got any medication, you should include it in your pouch as well. Over here, I've got more electrolytes. This in the form of effervescence tablets to be dissolved in water. Some super glue. They can be used in a really emergency situation for wounds. And then we've got eye drops, of course, dust, very prevalent in any kind of urban environment. Contact lenses, if you wear them. I have a Swiss Army knife classic. This is a small little knife, and this is really just for this kit. If you need a fine blade and a pair of scissors to cut anything, this is what this particular knife is for. So that's a Victorinox classic. And over here we have got just a collection of bandages. These are the steri strips, which are suture style plasters, which are very good to hold cuts and wounds together. Then we've got alcohol swabs. I've got water purification tablets, as well as this is antiseptic cream in a straw tube which has been sealed, and then a collection of different size bandages and gauze as well. So all that is in this kind of a personal first aid kit, and to be used in conjunction with the FAD, the first aid dressing, which I have in the front pouch of the kit as well. Here are the last two items that are in the kit. I've got a power bank. So this is 5000 mAh. This is by Nightcore. Really good power bank, and the cable is inside. So let's open this up. This, I guess you'd call an emergency toolkit. So it's really a two pouch. This is the Maxpedition micro pouch. So good size, but can hold quite a bit of stuff, and there are compartments inside. In this front netted or mesh compartment, I've got some cable ties which can be useful to hold things together. And let's just open this up to have a look inside. Really a collection of different items, bits of gear that can be very useful in a survival emergency situation. Let's start from the left. This is a survival lighter that I designed and put together. There's waterproofing, there's some wick, there's a needle, safety pin on the inside. This is some Kevlar thread that's wrapped around, and I've taught how to put this together. You can check out the video in the link above or the description below as well. So always good to have some kind of a lighter within your emergency system. I've got different types of cordage, so in terms of different lashings that can be used. I showed the paracord on the outside of the bag. This is comms cord, that's what we would call it. In the US they call this bank line, but basically it's just braided nylon thread, which is very strong. I've also got more Kevlar thread over here on this side. I'll show that in just a bit. Over here we've got a small flashlight. This is the Olight i3T, very bright light that has several different dimness or brightness that you can control. There's also this deep carry pocket clip. The great thing about this, if you're wearing a cap, you can put this on the beak of the cap as well, and it can be used almost like a headlamp. So I do have a headlamp, as I showed earlier, and this is kind of my redundancy or backup flashlight. A marker in the form of a mini Sharpie. This is for you to write messages on the wall, on the ground, or if you need to leave, any kind of indication, or to write down injuries. You can write them on arms, you can write them on clothing, any kind of message. A marker will work better than a pen. And on the inside over here, I've got some money. Always good to have some cash in an emergency situation, even though we're in a very digital world. And over here I've got a plastic Ziploc bag. This is the freezer style bag, very heavy duty. And I've got some coffee filters here, 2 coffee filters, which will be used as water filters. Again, part of water purification. If you need to get water from a source that's a bit dodgy, you can first pass it through the coffee filters to get rid of any sediments. Then you can either boil the water or use the water purification taps, which I showed earlier in the first aid kit. Right, that's all from the left. On the right over here, I've got that cable for the power bank, and I've got more Kevlar thread over here as cordage. So all this, I've got different types of cordage because you never know when you might need to lash or tie things together. So always good to have different kinds. I don't want to take this out, but basically in the straps we've got paper clips as well as safety pins. Just general utility can be very important. And over here, I've got a Leatherman tool, and this is the Leatherman Signal. And I've done a video specifically on this. You can check it out in the link above or below as well. And I think this is a great multi-tool for an emergency preparedness kit like this. An urban survival kit, really good. So this is multi-tool. Leatherman is a great brand, and you can open this up. And the main tool of these big Leatherman tools, is the pliers and the wire cutters, but there's also a whole bunch of other tools. For this particular Leatherman, you do have an awl, which is used to drill holes into wood, or you can use it to punch canvas or leather. And then you have a can opener, cap lifter, and over here we've got a driver system. Let's try to get that out. This driver is basically a screwdriver, but it uses exchangeable bits. So you can have Phillips head over here, or a flat head, and that goes in over here. There are two tools that can be removed. This is a sharpener to sharpen your knife, and over here we have a ferro rod as well as a whistle built into this. But remember, in my bracelet I also had a ferro rod and a whistle, so good redundancy with this particular tool. On the outside, after you close this up, you have several tools. You do have this hammer. This is kind of a small hammer, I guess a pommel, but I'm not sure how you'd use it in an urban environment. But if you ever need to, well, I do have that pry bar, but if you ever need to hammer something, you could just use this Leatherman as well. There is a wrench box here if you might need it, and that's to take other drill bits or bit drivers as well. The main tools, of course, are the knives and the saws on the outside, and this knife can be deployed with one hand, a bit like the Victorinox Trailmaster. This also liner locks, you can press that down, that closes up. It's combo blade as well, and there's also a saw. So kind of a backup tool, and that's why I have it in this kit. I have that Victorinox Trailmaster as kind of my main blade in front, but I want to have one more multi-tool as part of this kit, so that I really have a backup as well. So in terms of redundancies, you can see there are a lot of redundancies and backup items for different items, which I think are really important. Finally, at the end over here, we've got a panel marker. It's not a panel marker. This is actually an emergency blanket, a Mylar emergency blanket, but one side is this bright orange. So when you open it up, you can have a silver reflective side on one side, and then you've got this bright orange. In a survival situation or emergency situation, maybe you're stuck in a building, you can't get out, you can open this up to use as a signal to draw attention so that people can see you. And finally, I've got some gaffer's tape, which is a version of duct tape or cloth tape, and this is really wrapped around a card just to make sure it's very space efficient. And I use gaffer's tape because it doesn't have a residue like cloth tape, and that's what I have in this emergency pouch. And there you have it, all the different items in my individual emergency preparedness kit. I think it's a pretty complete kit for what is needed in terms of emergency preparedness and bug out situations in Singapore. It is in a compact bag where you can keep everything, and everything is well organized and easily accessible. But do let me know your thoughts, and if you think I've missed out anything, or if you'd replace some of the items in this particular kit. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like the content in general, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.